So today's topic, the title is Identity Bloom, and we will explore more about the topic. But before that, I wanted to start with an activity. So make yourself comfortable. I hope your seat is fine. You want to change space. Okay, make yourself, if you're comfortable. Vamsi Gopal, Prabhu. Can you please close the door behind you? Thank you. Yeah. So this is an activity for awareness. So we're going to take a few minutes for you to note down mentally that what are the things like that you see first. If I ask you to say like 5 things, I know it's a lot of people and we may not be able to do the actual activity, but it's like, what are the 5 things that you can see and the 4 things you can touch or feel, 3 things that you can actually hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste, if you're otherwise your favorite taste, if you're currently not having a taste in your mouth. So this is a lot to remember. So at least 1 thing that immediately comes to you, that 1 thing you see, 1 thing you hear, touch, and smell and taste. So take a moment and start observing, and we can go around the room. Yeah. So for those who walked in later, so we are taking a few moments to be aware of what we can see in this room that registers in our mind, what you can hear, what you can feel, what you can smell and taste. Any volunteers to share? We may not go through the whole room. Yeah.
Should I do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or just pick any one?
Whatever you're inspired to.
The one thing that I taste is lemon.
11.
That's my favorite.
Okay. Thank you.
And then 5 things I see. I love the window trim, the trees. Is that an incense burner?
Mhm.
That's hanging on that.
It's more of a lamp.
Oh,
Come.
it's a lamp.
Yeah, that's a lamp.
Bolsters and like the wood grain.
Okay.
Can I pass the mic to someone else?
Yeah. Leon seems to be interested.
Oh yeah. Alfie's shirt has a lot of fish on it. And your shirt has like, is it elephants?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So multi-animal shirts.
Okay.
And then I hear there's like a background sound that's happening.
Anyone else? Yeah.
I see Krishna.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I see, I love how the light is on the leaves of the plants. I see the plants and the light. Those were the 2 things that caught my sight. And then I hear there's like some thumping
Mm-hmm.
going on, and then the air. That's it.
Okay. Anybody is inspired to share? Anybody else? Okay.
I smell my hair conditioner.
Yes.
I was about to say I smell my deodorant.
Thank So now that we are more here, and would you also like to take a few deep breaths in and out so that we can be more ready for absorbing what we are going to hear? We're not going to guide it. You can individually do it. 3 deep inhales and exhale. Thank you. So we'll start with a short introduction, just your name. If there is one thing that you would like to share about you, quickly, like a quick thing, we would start with anything that you want to share, one thing about you. It could be anything. Just your name and one thing about you.
My name is Champak. I'm looking forward to chatting to you all after the class, just about life and spiritual seeking. I'd like to do that.
My name is Damodar. Gaur Sharan and I are good friends.
Thank you. Alan?
My name is Alan, and I just came from pickleball.
Wow. Sal, you want to go?
Sure. Hi, I'm Sahil, everybody. I'm looking to deepen my blend of masculine and feminine energies in the way I live.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. How about you?
How can you follow that, right? I'm Rosie, and I always have a punchline. And I'm just here to take in what I can.
Thank you, Rosie.
Hello, I'm Afei, and I am just really grateful for being here and making music all in the name of spiritual enlightenment through Krishna.
Thank you.
I'm Wendy, and I'm just here to learn something new.
Okay. Is this your first time, Wendy?
Yeah, it's my first time.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
I'm Abhi, and I'm loading the compliments I'm getting on my shirt.
Can you go? Would you like to go?
Yes, sure. My name is Lama,
Lama.
and I love the kirtan.
Thank you.
Hi
Chan.
everyone, I'm Varsha, and I've been loving these soul talks because it's a better way to spend my Saturdays.
Sonali.
Hi, I'm Sonali. I'm a little lost in life, so I came here for direction.
We're all.
Hi, I'm Samba. I've been seeking something, I don't know what, so I'm here for the sake.
Thank you.
My name is Hal. Interesting fact about me, I was born on an island within another island.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know what that says about me.
Which island?
I can't say.
Yeah, yourself.
Oh, hi, I'm Rhea, and I like coming to soul talks.
Hi,
Really?
I'm Leon. I'm here to give shirt compliments. So to learn.
I'm Jennifer, and I have a beloved little dog who is like my best friend and comedian. Her name is
Cookie. Okay. Sounds. Would you like to go? Yes, yourself.
Hi, I'm Danny. It's my second soul talk. I'm excited to learn.
Thank you.
Brian, Danny's friend, and it's my first time here. And today's the first time I took the ferry into the city from New Jersey. So, interesting.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Salil. I'm looking to deepen my understanding of spirituality and incorporate it more into my life.
Thank you so much.
I am Vikas, and I am attending Soul Talk because I like philosophy.
Hi, my name is Veena, and
Thank you. Again, my name is Gaur Sharan, if you didn't catch it yet. And yeah, I like being in the presence of seekers. It makes me also go deep in my own spiritual life. And thank you for being here. I appreciate, very grateful for all of your time on a Saturday evening. And I hope and pray that I could be of a little use in your own journey. So we were, like initially we started with your awareness of the room in terms of what you can see, feel, hear, because that's a sign of consciousness, that it is, we are aware. And we are not just existing, but we are also aware of our existence, because we have an ability to perceive things through various senses. We have an ability to perceive and process that experience and also respond based on that experience. So that is the sign of consciousness, because matter, like I love my iPhone, but however much I love my iPhone, it won't be able to perceive, process and respond the way a human being does. Siri can compensate a little bit, but not not fully like a human being. So there is a difference between, the matter can be wondrous when there is more consciousness put into it, like because we manipulate the matter with our consciousness. So it can be made like wondrous, like ChatGPT or various such technologies. Still, matter lacks feelings and experience on its own, and an individual response, which is very unique to each one of us. Like we all are in the same room, but we are seeing different things. Leon is looking at the animals in Abhi's shirt. Others are looking at the window frames. So we are all in the same room, but we see different things and we process different things. We have a different experience to the same things and we respond differently. And so initially we're just going to explore this particular question, like what is consciousness? Why I'm choosing this particular thing is the 125th year of Science Journal. It titled saying there are 100 things that science is still struggling to answer, and this made the hard problem of consciousness made to the top 5. So with all the advancement and technology and a personal experience, still scientists are not able to prove. That does not mean it does not exist. It's just that they are not able to clearly, in their own way of science, they are not able to come to it, catch hold of it. But we do have it and experience it, and literally it's we. We are that consciousness. And the Gita, if you heard of this particular book, it's an Eastern wisdom book, the Bhagavad Gita. So it starts with that how we are not this body, we are not even our thoughts, not our mind. Rather, we are the observer, the experiencer, and the energy that is aware of it all, which is the consciousness, which is the real self. It is a symptom of the soul, they say. That consciousness is the symptom of a living entity. And today's topic is based around that there are various levels of consciousness. That's what we are going to explore. And consciousness is not a product of the body, it's a symptom of the soul. And wherever you see life, there is consciousness. However, it's all not expressed equally. It is expressed in varying degrees. And that's the main topic we'll be discussing today. There are 5 levels of consciousness. And let's discuss more about them. These 5 levels they have a exotic Sanskrit name from the scriptures, which we will see eventually. But for easier grasp, I just gave the English translation of them. That it is covered consciousness. We will see what they are individually. Contracted consciousness, budding consciousness, blooming and fully bloomed consciousness. So these are the 5 levels. It's taken from a scripture called as It's a 250-year-old book. It's called as Jaiva Dharma by one of our previous teachers in the Bhakti tradition, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And he speaks about these 5 levels of consciousness in his book. So I'm basing my talk on that. So the first level is, he terms it in Sanskrit, he calls this Achadita Chetana. Chetana means consciousness. Sounds like a good name, right? Chetana. I know someone who has that name. So Achadita Chetana means it's covered consciousness. That the consciousness is buried in matter. An example is trees, plants, creepers. They are examples. They have life. They grow. They show some symptoms, right? They grow, they produce fruits, flowers, and byproducts like that. And eventually they also die. So there is surely an expression of consciousness, but it is very covered. Very limited ways to express what they feel. Even if I yell at this beautiful plant, still the plant will react, it will have a reaction. However, it may not be able to express the way that I would express to another person. So, can we all give some good wishes to the plant?
You're so pretty.
Yeah. So, we can actually express that goodwill even to the plants and trees. They all have life. They all have life symptom, but it is very limited expression. And so when consciousness is fully covered in these bodies, the soul forgets its identity completely. It eats like the plant. In Sanskrit, it has a very interesting term. The trees are called as something which eats through the feet. They are called as entities that eats through their feet because they absorb water through the root. See, absorb the water, their nourishment through their roots. So they're called as something which eats through their feet. So they eat, they grow, but in a true sense how a human can live, they are not able to fully express that. Of course, sometimes plants are are glorified. Krishna in one place in another scripture, he says, trees are better than human beings at times. You know why? Any guess? They don't talk back.
I'm sorry, that's me.
Yeah, if they don't wish curses upon others. Yeah.
Trees support each other underground, like they're all communicating.
Yeah, they support each other. Yes. Any other guess why trees are even better than human beings at times?
They're very still and calm.
They're very calm.
Calm.
Yeah, they are very composed, still and calm. Yeah, yeah.
It gives you food and shelter even if you don't give it anything.
Sonali, you're amazing. Yes, they are actually selfless. They are so selfless that even if a person comes to cut it, still it will offer him also shade. It will offer its fruits to even that person also. So it's said like the trees are better than human beings at times because they are completely selfless. They completely sacrifice themselves for others. They grow, they offer shelter, they offer shade. If you are from, like, imagine life before 700, 800 years, 600 years, 500 years, 400 years. So much of the commute was not very like how we have it today. So people walked. So then people needed shade. So the trees were very much part of the culture. They were very much part of the fabric of life. There was no way life would have survived without the trees on this planet. And they offer selflessly the shade, the fruits, the flowers, the twigs. Everything is a useful part in tree. Everything becomes something you can make out of it. Even when they die, still they leave you with a window frame, with a table, with a harmonium case, with a shelf. So even when they actually give up their lives, they actually sacrifice it for someone else's utility. They can produce heat, fire. So in that way, trees are completely selfless. Still, for their own pleasure, they may not live fully. So that's what we are mentioning here. They does not live means not in the sense they actually live a better life in terms of selflessness, but they may not live a life like how we want to experience for ourselves. Okay. I was terrified, and probably it was my phone. Okay. I hope it's in silent mode. So yeah. So the covered consciousness is we do experience. Like you go outside, you can see. So the why we are exploring these 5 levels of consciousness is for us to see the world through that, and we will see around us there are entities with covered consciousness. Then yes.
So are you saying that stones or rocks, etc., have no consciousness, or they are conscious?
Thank you. That was very controversial, so I consciously avoided it. Thank you very much. I very consciously avoided stones, and here we are. Thank you. Throwing me under the bus. So traditionally it is considered that some stones, if not all, do have consciousness. And then we go into the tales of curses. So in the scriptures there are moments that where somebody was cursed to become a stone, and later they actually reassume the forms of human. So it is quoted as an example in this particular book, Jaiva Dharma, and some stones do have consciousness. So if it's in news, welcome. So yeah.
Isn't the earth conscious? And if the earth is conscious, then everything within earth would be conscious?
Earth is conscious in the sense of limited, like yes, is conscious, but if you think of matter, it does not transform itself actively. So like the bolster is beautiful, is serving, it is actually making us comfortable, but it does not have consciousness how to the extent, or it does not have consciousness at all compared to a living entity like a tree or with a human being. So the distinction between matter and spirit is awareness. Existence is there, but awareness part is missing in matter. That's what is distinguishing matter from spirit. Yeah. Okay. So the second level is the constricted consciousness. So it is usually survival and reaction to what is happening to it. So usually animals and insects and all of them are considered as sankuchita chetana, means constricted consciousness. The life is ruled by instinct, fear, and basic needs. There is surely awareness, but no higher vision for life. It's basically a reaction to what they are experiencing. They lack a higher vision for life. They don't go into an existential crisis. Who am I? Why is this happening to me? They may, but they may not express it the way that actually. Of course, like I cannot say that today because there are therapists for pets today. So it's not that they don't. It's not expressed in the way that human beings express it. They do have surely awareness, but not a higher vision for life. The ability to come out of it like a human being can develop a purpose for life. Yeah, true. So in this state, the soul begins to feel for sure, but it stays logged in instincts. They are very programmed. If you see an animal, they wake up at a certain. They work with the world, the universal clock, the natural clock. They're not like unless they are being born and brought up in NYC. They might be little out of touch with the nature, but in general they are still much in tune with the natural cycle. They are very strongly programmed and they act according to the instincts. So life becomes a loop of reacting, very less of reflecting happens on this level of consciousness. So this is the second level of consciousness. You can see any animal is usually considered within this. Even among them also there is gradations in their ability to express and experience life. Like an earthworm, it's so beautiful and it's so important for fertility, and it's called a farmer's friend. Still, what the earthworm can experience and express is different from a dog, is different from a cow, is different from a monkey, is different from a cat. So still within the animal category also there is multiple levels, but in general they all are constricted. Yeah.
I mean, so are they constricted consciousness because they can't vocalize to us? Because animals communicate within their own circle. I know, and I know this sounds funny, my dog has spoken to me. And I know what he's saying, like he's made head gestures, people outside, they're talking, and I'm like, shut up, stop barking. And so we've been in that, like, but I'm saying even within animal communities, they, like, just because a dog is, or let's say a pack of wolves rather, the pack of wolves, they know the leader of the pack. They're conscious of that.
Yes.
So, wow, is it just constricted because of us?
When we like when we say of constricted, where all of these levels, they may be in a plant body, they may be in an animal body, we may be in a human body, but this is all the same souls. In quality, they are all the same souls. What is limiting is the body. The consciousness is original. It's not constricted at all. What is constricting is the current body in which, say for example, if I put like a boxing glove, and if I go to put a needle, like a thread inside a needle, I have the ability, but my ability to do that activity becomes constricted because of the external glove I have.
Opposable thumbs.
Yeah.
Opposable thumbs. Dogs don't have opposable thumbs.
Yeah. So the body is constricting. It's not the soul. The soul is always aware. It's conscious, and it has an ability to love. In any particular, even a plant actually can express love in its own way, and a dog for sure. So that ability of the soul is never taken away, but it is limited because of the current dress it is wearing. The body is also like a dress.
So it's limited because of the space that we're in.
The body, the vessel, the container in which it is.
The vessel as in like this. I mean the vessel as in like this, like where we are currently. It's hard to say, like people say dimension, some people say I don't know what they say, but here, you know what I mean. So it's constricted because of this plane.
We all exist in the same plane, like the tree is existing in the same plane in a certain sense, but we both have different levels of consciousness. So we are currently speaking about the individual vessel in which we are, and how is it affecting our ability to express and process and experience and reflect and convey it to others.
Yeah, I'm still just like for me, I'm just not, I don't know. That's alright, keep going.
Yeah.
Like a density level, right? Like the way that the soul can experience and express that love or that ability or that yearning, it's different in the physical limitations as well as like a kind of awareness, right? Depending on the different density level of that consciousness.
Yeah. They're also helpless in certain terms in their own bodies. So they surely have an ability to express and experience love, but it is surely limited because of their body.
Yeah, I think they said like sunflowers come together in a certain way to like protect or something like that, one of each other. It's like something I read. So it's like obviously these are conscious beings, but because they can't communicate, I feel like it's so us-centered. You know what I mean? Because like, we're at the top of the food chain, right? Or the conscious chain. So it's like, oh, well, since this plant can't communicate with me and I'm at the top of the chain, I mean, you know what I mean? It's almost...
What we are saying in an objective way, we are not speaking we as a reference, but we are saying the ability to express in the sense of the sunflower how much it can help another sunflower. How much it can actually change the environment that it is living. It can take conscious actions to better the world or be of service to others. It has some ability, but it compared to the ability of a human being. We are not saying we are better. We are saying objectively who has the more ability to affect the environment they are around. Yeah.
All right, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought the difference was the level of self-awareness.
Yes.
As far as like a sunflower can't say I am a sunflower as a human.
Yeah. Her point of view is we don't know.
Yeah.
So that is why like I understand what you're saying. I also that's a certain way of looking at things. This is also a way of looking. They are not contradictory, but they are all like different ways of looking at the same thing. And yes, their own self-awareness in terms of their ability to communicate to us is surely is. Where's my bag? I don't know. That's fine. There's a black bag somewhere. No. Oh, this one. I'm sorry. I know my friend will be relentless. Yeah. No, I'm on airplane mode. And however, the main discussion is based on self-awareness from a perspective of spiritual consciousness. Yeah. The third one is, we are also running late. So the third one is budding consciousness. Is usually there is a lot of drama on this level, but there is also seeking of higher meaning in this level. So our lives have a lot of drama, but all of that is supposed to lead to meaning. So both of them are available on this level. So identity is wrapped in so many roles, ambitions, ego. However, we can begin to question, but not yet acting on. We may not act on the truth yet, but we do know there is a pinprick in the system somewhere. Like somebody was saying, I'm looking for something, but I don't know what I'm looking for. So that is very clearly processed and expressed. And some people even take initiatives towards it. Okay, he took an initiative, okay, let me go find people who are also interested in spiritual things and listen about. So this is the level of budding consciousness. Mukulita Chetana in Sanskrit. Generally, all human beings come under this category. That this is the beginning of awakening, where the soul starts very clearly asking, who am I really? And it has the ability to do something about it also. But it's still tangled in a lot of illusion and ego roles. So it's a seed like pushing through the soil. It's like just, there is enough awareness to just start thinking about those bigger questions. So this is the human level. And then the next level is that blossoming consciousness. Now I realize there's something missing. I'm looking for something. What is it that I'm really wanting to connect with? So this is the level where someone actually takes an active step of spiritual practice and moral, even like a kind of refinement of consciousness. So this is beginnings of transformation happens gradually. So the consciousness opens through mainly spiritual practice, that we take up to some kind of a practice which makes us more aware, which makes us present to the experience, and also respond in ways which is helpful for our consciousness. So the consciousness is opening through practice, reflection, and alignment with higher truths. And people on this level start to act on the spiritual knowledge they have. A lot of information is available today. Too much sometimes. So then what happens is like people also become very oblivious to, because there is so much information, so people can become oblivious to, I've heard this, I know this. So because we may confuse knowing equal to being that truth. So on this level there is real acting on that spiritual knowledge and living those values. We may know, but really acting on that and living by those values, and it begins a very real connection with the divine on this level. So you experience that. So what happens is sometimes we experience it, sometimes it goes back. Sometimes we are in a right kind of an association, we experience an awakening, but we may not have the strength to further that awakening, but we do have those moments of experience. Suddenly we feel very connected to ourselves and others in a very deep spiritual way. However, we may not be, that may be momentary, but on this stage it becomes a stable truth that you open up. And why I like seeing consciousness as a bud is when it is in lower levels, it is based on I, me, and mine usually. The more it opens, suddenly you see there is more space in the butt. You want to say something? Yeah, it just opens. So suddenly there is space. You start seeing textures, fragrance, colors, layers that was not visible to before. So when the consciousness actually opens, we will be able to love unconditionally. You will have more space in the heart for even people who may not be actually nice to us. So the more consciousness opens, the main symptom is whose consciousness is open are those people who can actually love others unconditionally. So it takes some amount of effort. So, and when that happens, we'll be happy and we'll be able to forgive and we'll be able to let go. We'll be able to not just forgive but also actually express actively love, even to people who may not be actually otherwise that we would show that love to them in a general budding consciousness. So here the soul is consciously seeking, practicing and growing, and spiritual life becomes intentional and glimpses of real self begin to emerge gradually. And the next one is the level which is fully bloomed consciousness. Perfection is never like one time that you achieve perfection and there is no further. It constantly expands. Still, this is a high level of threshold, I would say. So the soul is fully awake, acting from pure devotion and connected to the divine, and complete selfless love towards others and to the Supreme. So the ability to love others is very high. So that's considered a very fully bloomed consciousness. People may practice different paths of spirituality, but you will see people who actually advance in their own paths all show these universal symptoms. Saints from various traditions, they may actually be even contradictory traditions sometimes in terms of their theology, but we will see their qualities are like, they all develop such qualities of being able to love others unconditionally, and feeling the pain of others is a symptom of highest order of religion. If you want to consider what is highest order of religion, it is the ability to feel the pain of others and to not cause such pain to others. So that is true religion. And of course that comes with the ability to love the Supreme, and it is very much rooted in love and compassion. So in Sanskrit it's called as Purna Vikasita Chetana. Means Purna is complete, Vikasita is opening up, blooming, and Chetana is consciousness. So fully bloomed consciousness. So this is the state of the awakened soul, untethered soul, free from illusion, full of love. So fully aligned in will with the Supreme, its full bloom of spiritual identity is experienced on this level. So I have a story to connect this experience of someone who had gone through these stages. So this particular saint's name was Bilva Mangala. A very fascinating story. So he was born in a very wealthy, in the traditional society he was born in a priestly kind of order. So he had a lot of knowledge, access to knowledge, and also had a lot of wealth. And his father was very loving, took care of him, and he had a very beautiful family. Despite all of that, he became actually infatuated and like almost to this stage of addicted to a sex worker, despite having a family and a loving situation. And it started like eating his attention away. Basically, addiction is what? Addiction takes away your choice, your ability to make choice. It just makes you dependent. So he became very sex addict kind of towards this person. So he could not think anything. Wherever he was just thinking about that girl. And it became like very debilitating. His business started failing, and then he started not showing up for his family, his health. It just many things started falling apart in his life. And that particular girl, though she was, due to her circumstances, was performing a certain kind of profession, she was also personally practicing spirituality. She was dedicated to the Supreme in her own way. She had a good consciousness, though her circumstances drove her to be a sex worker. So she was very had a consciousness which were more open and were not exploitative. However, she was continuing to entertain this person, and then sometimes she would speak spiritual truths to him, but he was like, it was not going into his head. He was just attached to her. And a time came where he started neglecting his father. Eventually, his father actually died. And he was performing the funeral of his father, the funeral rites, and it was late in the evening. It was raining, and he finished all those rites. Even when he was performing the rites, he was thinking, it's time for me to go and meet her. It's his father who has just passed away, who showed him so much love and affection, but still he became very addicted and he lost his control. And he saw it was late in the night. It was it's even older than 700 years ago this particular story happened. So there was no electricity or anything. So it was late in the evening, so he could not go. He had to cross a river to meet her. So he thought, it's late in the night. He goes and checks out the river, and there is no boatman to cross. It's already late in the evening. So and it's raining heavily. And the last boatman who is leaving, he says, in this rain, I'm not going to taking the risk of going in this dark night. I'm not going to cross. So he leaves. So he swims across. It was dangerous, but he still swam across the river. He goes to the other side, and somehow or other walks to that girl's house. Her name was Chintamani. So her house, and he sees that the doors are all closed, because she got the news that his father passed away. She thought, he's not going to come today. His father passed away. So she bolted the door. She went, and she was inside, and he tried knocking, and it was raining, it was thundering, it was lightning. So it was not very audible to her. It was a lot of noise outside. And he thinks, how do there was a parapet wall so he saw, let me just climb this wall. He saw a creeper there. He held on to it, and then he was going. But the creeper, there was a snake intertwined in that creeper. It was late in the night. It was a strong creeper, but it was there was a snake intertwining. And he kept putting all his weight and climbing. So he almost choked that. The snake was also bit him in that whole process. So he was so tired, and he became kind of delirious because of the snake bite. And when he crossed that high wall, he just fell on the other side because there was nothing to climb down. He just, in the darkness, somehow he tripped and he fell. He hurt himself, and he falls unconscious. He already has a snake bite, and he falls unconscious. And it's late at night. Nobody is there to attend him. And eventually, some of Chintamani's servants, they see that somebody is lying there in the courtyard. So they come, and they see he is unconscious, and they call for her. She comes and realizes, this guy, how is he here at this night? So she carries him inside. She understands he is unconscious and recuperates him, and sees a snake bite and applies for the antidote, and she's taking care throughout the night. When she's sitting and taking care of him, because she wanted to make sure he survives, she realizes that if my servants did not see him, if we did not help him, he would have died. And she started thinking, what is it that in me that this person is willing to die? So she's already a very spiritual person. So it makes her think, is it even worth? Is life worth dying for me? For just having just one night, coming and having sex with me? Is it worth dying? Why? She just becomes starts on an existential crisis in her mind. She starts thinking, what is even life? Is it all about just enjoyment? Is there any higher purpose? It just starts make her suddenly, it does not make logic to us sometimes, but some instance can just start an existential questioning mode for another person in the same situation. So it just affects her deeply that some person is just willing to give up his life for the sake of just coming and having sex once with me. Hey, is it even worth? What is it? She feels that my body does not give me happiness, but he thinks that my body gives him happiness. And what if I grow old? Will I still be able to give him happiness? Will he be able to continue to receive happiness? So it just throws her off existentially, and she becomes very deeply impacted. She starts like thinking about these spiritual things throughout that night, and in the morning when he wakes up, she is actually politely but firmly, she actually chastises him that why did you do that, why did you come at late at night, and you would have just died. And he says, don't you see how much I love you? And she says, oh, I don't think you really love me. And he says, no, I swam a river for you late at night. I held on to a creeper, and somehow or other I was trying to cross, and I realized it's later there is a snake here and it bit, and that whole anxiety, I tripped and fell, and I would have actually died if you didn't find me, and I was willing to give my life to just come and see you. And she asked, what about your father? Did you feel for him anything? He lived with you, gave you so much love and affection. Did you even have a remorse that he just died? And when immediately after setting fire to his funeral pyre, you're here just to enjoy me. And she asked, like, what if tomorrow just I become debilitated? Will you still continue to love me? Tomorrow I lose my ability to give you bodily enjoyment. Will you still continue to love me? And he just like somehow tries, and she says, oh, forget all this, let's just enjoy. And she says, no, I am done with this. This is not going anywhere from now. And she says, if you had the same level of attachment that you have for me and sex, if you had the same level of attachment you have for these things towards God, you would have become a saint. If you had this level of dedication towards spiritual quest, you would have become a saint. She just says it in a kind of a nonchalantly, and she says, I am giving up everything. I am giving up my profession. I am giving up my wealth. I am taking to a spiritual path. And she walks away. And he keeps pleading her, and she just walks away saying, if you develop the same attachment you have for me towards the Supreme, your life would be much better. And she walks away. It gradually, he starts digesting what happened in his life, and he also becomes actually very spiritual, and he sets out on a spiritual journey. And he goes, finds a spiritual teacher, and takes lessons from him, and learns practices from him. And he gets an instruction to go to a holy place called Vrindavan in India. His guru says, you go to Vrindavan and spend your rest of your time in that sacred place. And he is walking on his way, and due to circumstances he becomes blind. He loses his eyesight, and he eventually still goes to Vrindavan, and there he continues his spiritual practice with so much intensity that he becomes a very saintly person. His consciousness starts blooming. From the state of blooming, it becomes like budding, it becomes blooming, and it becomes fully blossomed. He achieves that state over a few years, like some years, and then it is said that that he wrote books which spoke about this consciousness evolution so beautifully. And in that book, he dedicates that book to his spiritual teacher. You know whom he mentions as his spiritual teacher? The girl, Chintamani. He says, I offer my respects to my guru, Chintamani, who awakened me to the spiritual path, who made my consciousness actually completely awaken towards the spiritual truth by her strong instruction and by her kind affection. So he dedicates that book to her and writes that she is my spiritual teacher. And of course, she also says the other teacher who gives him the name and spiritual practices. But he credits that my first teacher was Chintamani. So he dedicates the whole book to her. And in that way, this was a beautiful journey of that how any one of us could actually become actually awakened. And it does not, who we are today does not actually define who we actually can be. So it could be we could be anybody today. We may have our own struggles, but that does not limit us from becoming who we could be, from realizing our full potential. And the whole crux is in the spiritual practices that we take to and how we apply ourselves sincerely. It can actually open. And I can honestly say I have a long way to actually even like fully blossom in my own way. But still, I can say I have come a long way just by dedicating to a particular practice and going deep into it, that surely my consciousness is open. It is yet to open wide and fully, but still I can see a change. The ability to hold contradictions and paradoxes and the ability to love others and be compassionate, it's not fully yet there, but surely I can see the change through the spiritual practice. And it makes life actually worth, in the sense the difficulties, everything that comes to life, all has a meaning, and it all is arranged for a reason. The struggles that we go through, the challenges that we face, the disappointments that we experience, everything has a role in helping us actually blossom. So we are that spirit soul who may be currently in a certain bodies and a certain dress, in a plant's dress or in a tree's dress, in a dog's dress or in a human being's dress, but we all share the same quality of spirit. The speciality of the human body is that we could actually expand our consciousness. That possibility is very high in the human consciousness. That is why it is considered special, not because it's in a hierarchy, it is in an exploitative. It hasn't, the hierarchy is not based on who has the more ability to exploit others. Surely not. It's who has more ability to help others. The real hierarchy is in who has the more ability to actually extend compassion to others and facilitate others' journey. So we are all meant to bloom deeply, consciously and completely. And we are not here just to survive. We are not here to make a living. We are here to actually experience life and to completely awaken to our true potential, especially the spiritual potential. We can learn new skills, we can learn new technologies, so many things. Intellectually we can expand, emotionally we could expand, but ultimately complete expansion is also spiritual awakening. And we are not asking anyone to become someone new. We are not asking someone to shed one's individuality, nothing. We are not trying to become someone different. We are just trying to become ourselves, the original self. We're trying to uncover the original self. We're not trying to become anyone new. Currently who we are is actually not us. The anger, the the greed that actually sometimes people express, that is not them. They're being covered currently. The more we uncover that original pure identity inside us, and we can also awaken it in others, so we can create a beautiful world where the whole purpose is for spiritual awakening. So I know I've been speaking a lot, and I'll give you, we'll have some time for you to share your thoughts, and your reflection for the week could be, how can I take to a personal spiritual practice? How can I invest in my own spiritual life so that I can bloom further? So what it would take for you to commit to something that can actually help you. So the real investment that can actually benefit us as individuals. And believe me, we are all leaders in our own way. And we affect more people than we would like to believe and realize. We affect a lot of people around us. So the more we become actually awakened, then we will be able to be shelter and support to others. You'll be able to serve others better, more people and in better ways. So that potential, to the ability to serve, is a great fortune we have. So to not utilize it will make us feel dissatisfied. So when you express love, that's when you fully experience that satisfaction. So love is not exploitation, love is not selfishness, love is very selfless. So when that ability to express that selfless love and service is a fortune we all have. So the more we try to uncover that, and that could be uncovered through a spiritual practice. And here at the Bhakti Center, we practice the path of Bhakti, and the whole idea is that we take to sound in order to awaken the soul. So we take to the mantra. That mantra is a spiritual sound that actually awakens us to that spiritual reality. So that is why we emphasize a lot on sound meditation in various ways, through individual chanting and in group communal chanting. So So we are very grateful for your time and attention, and hope there was something in what we shared that could actually help you and inspire you. We do have more offerings that Champak will share about, and if there are any few thoughts, reflections we could quickly take before we conclude. Yes, Leo.
What's the difference between like so you said people can find meaning through drama, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's the difference between that and this higher level of consciousness?
That drama actually is pain. So it leads us to this question, okay, why am I suffering? Why is this happening to me? Why am I frustrated? So that drama actually leads us to look for meaning. And that final stage is where you actually realize that meaning. You live that meaning.
Oh, but if there's not pain, don't you feel unmotivated?
Not necessarily, but unfortunately, most people need a reckoning, need a shake up a little bit. So the world is designed for that. Yes, we can actually actively take steps and evolve our consciousness, but most of us are distracted, unfortunately. So that pain is to awaken us. Like sometimes, like the kid is not waking up, then the mom takes some water and splashes on the face. Because however many times you say, oh, wake up, it's time, so then just splash some water. Oh, why are you doing this? So that's when the kid wakes up. So something like that. The universe designs for us to wake up in various ways. And yeah, pain and pleasure are also in the perspective. So once you change your consciousness, does not mean that you will not have 100 degrees in summer. You will also, that person also will experience, but it may not bother them much. They'll operate on another level. Yeah.
So the ultimate nature of soul is love, is what I've heard from many people, right? But should it be stillness instead? Because if there is duality, because we know that there's unity and then there is a duality that comes out of it. Love looks like an extreme form of, quality, right? Opposed by, let's say, jealousy, hatred, whatever. So how can we say that love is the ultimate nature of reality? Because I feel that in a dual world, something like love is an extreme and cannot be the nature of both. At its essence.
So that is the distinction between material reality and spiritual reality. In material reality, there is duality. In spiritual reality, it is not. And also the other way to look at it is like, peace is the foundation on which happiness is built. So sometimes when life is very hard, all we look for is peace. But peace alone cannot just satisfy us. If you just was left alone, it could be like relieving, because it's so hard to deal with people and colleagues and all these other things. So we might just feel like, okay, 10 days of quiet silence. But if life is just that, because the soul has the ability to express love, that is the highest expression. Peace is just a zero, minus axis, like negative axis, neutral zero axis, and positive axis. So peace is just the neutral zero axis. So life could be much more actually when you learn to love. And peace is included in love. A person who is not peaceful cannot express love actually.
So what is the fundamental building block of the universe? Is it love or is it something else?
Fundamental building block of this universe?
Of existence.
Of existence is awareness and...
It's not love, right? It's not love.
Why it should not be love? Why are you so scared about love?
No, I'm just questioning that. No, I'm not scared of love.
No, I'm just saying.
So I broke your heart?
Yeah. No, if you think about some lower lokas, like Naraka, etc., right? People are living there. The souls are living there in torment. And those are also souls who are in the opposite polarity. They are going through a lot of sorrow and distress and whatnot. And there are swarga where people are experiencing love and other kinds of positive feelings. So reality has to be.
That's what again I said. The material reality has these extremes of pain and pleasure. So they both are coming from bodily consciousness, but spiritual reality is a complete different kind of reality. So when we are speaking about love, what we currently know is very limited about it. So when the consciousness actually opens, it will become much more better. So the spiritual practice is to awaken that. So a person who's experiencing that level will also be peaceful. So peace is like more of a building block, like a foundation on which naturally more emotions can exist. Because peace is a very neutral kind of an experience. But we as individuals feel more happy not just when we are peaceful, but when we have connection, when we actually can express love and experience love. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
So you were talking about how I don't know if it was like anyways, like you were talking about like the flower opening is like your conscious opening.
Mm-hmm.
When you are becoming aware, do you have physical reactions, or is it just like, how does that go?
When the consciousness is opening, you're, if I understand rightly, you're asking, is there a physical reaction to that opening? Physical reaction in terms of your aura could be better. It's also still subtle. But physically, the person may not like grow taller or like grow different, like fatter.
No, like feeling the frequency.
Yeah, that part, yes, yeah. For sure. Because that's all manifested in the aura that other people experience from you, and also in your own heart. There'll be a permanent peace, despite all the chaos that is going around. You could experience a shelter and a security and a peace, and also the ability to express love. All those feelings will also be very aware. The awareness will be very strong. Just a minute, the mother need to work on the prasad part.
Happened to me, but I just wanted to know if that was normal. I'm like, before I tell everybody, am I weird, or is this normal?
There can be surely some physical.
Because that's what happened to me. I felt like something right here, and it opened up, and it was like shock waves going through my entire body. Then I got freezing cold, and no one in the room was like, everybody's like, well, I don't know what's happening to you, and I'm just like freezing cold, and then it was fine. Then after that, I was protruding this energy, everything that you were talking about too, because I saw this lady that I didn't like, and she opened up a restaurant, and I was like, I'm so happy for you. And she was like, I can feel how happy, like she could feel my energy, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I was just elated for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. Those to make it consistent is you need a practice to be able to experience and stay in that level consistently. Yeah. So life could be adventurous. Yeah, and that's right. The life can be much more adventurous. She raised hand before. Is it connected to this, or it's a separate question? No. Okay, so we'll go with her first. Yeah.
So in English we use one word to describe many things for what love is.
Yes.
So that I always found confusing. In Sanskrit, are there multiple words?
Yes.
For the word love?
Yes.
So there is a distinction between the love that we are seeking when we're blossoming, between that and what we might think love is. So what we might think love is may not be what we're actually
looking for.
Right. Because what are we looking for, or we won't know until we get there.
We do have some hint. It may not be clear, but the hint is we're looking for connection. We're looking for someone who can fully understand us, in someone whom we can fully trust. In someone's presence, we can be vulnerable. In someone's presence, now we can be sure that this person will, come what may, this person will never hate me.
So that's what we're aiming for with each other.
Yes.
That's that trust.
However, on this level of budding, when everybody is like, budding means also it is contracted consciousness. We are all to some extent selfish, so it's very hard to give it to others. So when a group of people are all like in a state of little bit closed consciousness, then it's very hard for them to feel for each other and actually share that love with each other. So with our own connection with the Supreme, we open up. Once we open up, we spread the fragrance in the room for everyone. So then there is more ability between two individuals to share love. If they were all closed, they won't be able to express that. But now that I have individually opened mine through my spiritual practice and connection with Supreme, and the other person has done the same, we have greater ability to communicate love now.
So there's confusion.
Yes.
I mean, because there's also negative. So yeah. Okay. What is the Sanskrit word
For
what we're talking about here?
It's called as Chetana. It's the consciousness. And what is called as that Purna Vikasita is called as Prema.
So that love word that we're
Yeah, Prema it is called as. But it also has more details in the scriptures. But the generic word, and usually in English, I've seen one author write a book called as Wise Love, because they didn't want to just use the word love because it is confused with so many. So they translated that Prema, that word, as wise love. So the whole book is about that, like how it is not the love that we think it is. So you can check out, it's by Pranada. She's a great author. I personally love her books. Her book is her first book. She wrote a trilogy, 3 set of books. In that, the first book is called Wise Love. We can share more details. Like I think the gift shop might have her books. So she's an amazing author. I love her works. So it's.
Maybe from my Greco-Roman perspective, it might be agape. I don't know.
Could be.
I feel like love, what we think love is what we've been told it was through people of people with trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what love is until we actually, like I didn't know what love was. I'm 43. I didn't know what love was for many years because I wasn't loved properly as a child.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I didn't love my children properly. I gave them better than what I got. So now that I found love for God, I now know how to love. And for me personally, it's just love is just acceptance.
True. So in that connection with your own personal connection with the Supreme, when you open up, your ability to give others also increases. So thank you for sharing. Yes, Veena ji?
The thing is, in English, they only use one word, love.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're talking, Indian language,
Mm-hmm.
your mamta, sneha, prema, there are so many
So many.
different words which are a reflection of, maternal love, sisterly love, brotherly love.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult when you're translating into English.
Yes.
That when we say love, it doesn't necessarily mean romantic love,
Mm-hmm.
which is how the Westerners view love as romantic love.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, in Indian culture, we have so many different words for love. So I think that's
Thank you.
a cultural thing.
Thank you.
I would say it's Anglophone because other languages, Western
Yeah.
languages
So we might have some restrictions in the language itself, but we all have an experience. In this room, every one of us have an experience of what it feels, what real love feels. We all have that. We may call it differently. So love is not the romantic thing alone. So the love we have experienced from to the extent it is selfless, it's always very pleasing to the heart. To the extent there is some selfishness there, it always completely does not satisfy us. We may not, like words may fall short to express it anyway, in any language, I would say. Brandon, right?
I was going to ask, how do you reconcile your own survival instinct with like your spiritual practices? Because we still have to make it through communities, and sometimes people don't have like the best intentions,
Mm-hmm.
and just have to navigate that. So, like, do you have any input on that?
And can I add a small follow-up to that?
Yeah.
So imagine, like the story of a person who was stuck in a rock,
Mhm.
his foot stuck inside the rock, and he was in a lot of pain, right?
Mhm.
So like there's one pain which we talk about, like addictions, etc.
Mhm.
Like which is not physical pain, but we also go through a lot of physical pain and a lot of existential pain.
Mhm.
Are we able to love when we're going through the existential pain,
Mhm.
which is consuming all our being? How do we experience? And let's say we are just stuck there. We know that this is where my life is going to end. I'm stuck in. That person who was stuck in, I forgot his name. There's a movie made on him, 127 hours.
Mhm.
So you're stuck there, and you probably will not live beyond this whatever hours you have. How do you find love? How do you find God in that kind of circumstance?
Okay, thank you. So, first part I'll answer and then the follow-up. Like, there is being spiritual does not mean we have to be a walkover for others. You can be assertive because you do have a duty to survive in the world. It's your right to survive. So you can be assertive, but you stop becoming a pawn, or like you play into the games of others. So you'll more and more realize, and the more you become very self-aware, actually the world adjusts around us. Many times we think, oh, if I express my needs, if I stand up for myself, how it will work. Gradually you'll gain the confidence, you will also be assertive, and you will also, through the spiritual practice, know what is essential, what is my fear. All of those things become more and more clear. So the real work happens here, and surely the world has abundance for every one of us, and what needs to come to us will always, no one can take it away from us, and what is not ours, no one can give to us. So when you live from a place of that abundance and confidence spiritually, you will get what you need. Sometimes people may even try to obstruct, but nothing can stop what we are deserving. And as far as your question about pain, believe me, most people in this world have found God in moments of pain. So our connection with the Supreme is beyond time, space, and all the limitations. So that connection is the eternal connection. So in fact, pain is the most the most effective stimulant towards spiritual life for many people in this world. So our access to God can never be taken away from us, because that is the original nature of the soul. It is eternally connected, and it does not rely on Wi-Fi signal. It has its own built-in Wi-Fi signal. So it's a thing that you can always access, especially when you're alone, when you're in difficulties. That's the only thing you get to access, actually, because it's based on the heart. Okay.
Sometimes the connection gets patchy.
Patchy because of we are sketchy. That is why it gets patchy many times. Yeah.
I just want to share.
Sorry, I didn't come to you and we went there. So.
No, that's good. It was just at the sex worker story.
Mm-hmm.
Shared. I have a story, not with a sex worker, but with a person that I feel, in hindsight, when you're, I just was reminded of like a mini guru.
Mm-hmm.
I was in India a few years ago at like a food drive, like giving food at a hospital to people, whatever, that can't support themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a morning person. You have to wake up at 5 a.m. and go in, and there was like serving like a few hundred people, right? A group of us. And after like 2-3 hours, then we were out, and I was waiting for my car to come in Bombay. And then we had served food and chai and stuff, and then while I was waiting, somebody comes and gives me a cup of chai.
Mm.
And I recognized the person was someone that I had served inside. So I was kind of scratching my head of what's happening here, and it's like I was a little reluctant to accept it, and he insisted very politely and gently, and then I was like, weren't you just there like receiving? And I can't remember the exact words, but he just was like, you guys were up so early serving, and so he wanted to offer a cup of chai. So he paid for it himself. It probably cost not more than 25 cents, but that for him
was a lot.
Was a big amount, or like a lot, and like there was just pure pleasure in like him giving it. And I just remember like receiving that with such like I had tears in my eyes because, and I don't remember the guy's name. I'm never gonna see him again. But it was like I always remember that instance as like a selfless, very powerful.
A pure expression of affection and love without any, because it came from you, it evoked that in that person's heart also. And also it takes gratitude to express love. Unless there is gratitude, it's the groundwork that the love can stand. Without gratitude, there is no real expression of love. There's much more in that topic. There's a lot more, but I would like humbly ask for a closing announcements, and then the dinner is waiting for all of you. So I hate to be that person who stands between someone and their dinner. So I've been that for the last an hour or so. So thank you. Extremely grateful for this opportunity.